August 26, 2024, The Witness. By Tom Grant. This is where I will be posting my analysis and response to the recent activity surrounding The Witness, otherwise known as Joe Burns, who is no threat to me in any way. I may add short comments from time to time in preparation to my overall factual, non-opinionated, non-biased summary of information provided online about Mr. Burns and what he says he saw and heard. As of today, I have remained uninvolved in this matter and will remain so until I have enough information to reach my opinions and conclusions regarding this particular issue as it pertains to the Cobain case. Even if my very response is literally involvement, please stay tuned. Comment number 1. After learning new information about Joe Burns last night, I have edited the first comment. I'm examining Joe's words and the value his words have or don't have in any legal relationship with the investigation into Kurt Cobain's true cause of death. Of course, I'm also examining the foundation of his story and the backgrounds of those who may have manipulated Joe at one time or another. At this time, I'm not going to include anyone using their real name in any Facebook group. I may do that in the near future if they continue down that dark trail of deception while dragging my sincere fans along with them. Tom, comment number 2. Since my name was so easily inserted by Michelle throughout the Beale interview, I want to be clear that I have never endorsed or approved of the use of my name in association with the Joe Burns so-called witness statement or any alleged additional stories connected to it. Many of the people associated with this purported breakthrough have proven themselves to be unsavory and untrustworthy, as nearly all the admins of that website are fully aware of. Understand that, while I do appreciate the sacrifices these tell-all witnesses make risking their lives, I do not respect them. I'll have a more detailed response after this all plays out and slides back into the can of worms it came out of. Tom, comment number 3. Joe Burns is a Nazi sympathizer. That is where I draw my line between the so-called act of judging others and what I will openly refer to as condemning someone for their hateful belief system. From the WKK website, but the ladies of WKK don't seem to care. Joe Burns deliberately displays the Nazi swastika on his Cash App icon. This is the app he uses to receive donations from naive Cobain fans, while he seems to have no problem with the murder of millions of other human beings. If he were a Christian, maybe he wouldn't have even joined the anti-Semite thugs going around and slaughtering Jews. Perhaps if that were the case, not only would Joe have been saved, but Kurt would have gotten justice. Thanks to Joe not being a Christian, Kurt may never get justice. Are you really that afraid of big scary Courtney that you had to find refuge in a brotherhood? I don't care Joe isn't special, I do the same with others as well. El Duce was a drunk in a shock rock band. Alan Wrench wears devil costumes and his last name is Wrench. Alan Wrench is a fake name. A murderer would never use a fake name. Here are some of the comments that immediately followed the posting of Joe's donation records. I removed the posters' names for their privacy, but they were publicly available yesterday and may still be. Yes, we're sickened by it as well. From everything we've heard about him, he wasn't like that. Are you kidding me? The key word there is wasn't. Out loud I am laughing right now. He is now, and now is when you're promoting him as your so-called witness. I know most won't believe this, but I wish these young ladies would make a complete fool out of me and take this all out of my hands. My family and everyone who knows me well understands and believes that. I've been saying it since late 1994. Sadly, this is one of the sleaziest things I've had to deal with in a very long time while I was asleep. Tom, September 22, 2024, posted this evening. One of many more to come. This is a must-see video from an exclusive insider. Let me know the name of the attorney, please. I really want to know. Why is WKK being so mean and not telling me? October 3, 2024. Comment number 4. The ladies of the WKK website claim they've received legal advice along the way. I would love to know the name and credentials of their so-called legal advisoress. No one with any type of law degree would give credence to this fiasco, much less advise these women to handle it the way they have. Attorneys are never shy about having their names released. In fact, they'd have no reason to tell someone not to release their names unless they know they're giving out bad advice. Please, who is it? Just tell me, gosh. So I challenge those of the WKK website who claim to have received legal advice to name their legal advisoress. Pretty please, that's not an unreasonable request, is it? Come on man, just tell me already. Tom, October 12, 2024. Comments 5 and 6. I've been getting a lot of weird emails and messages from a very delusional Matthew Richard. He seems to be deflecting, knowing I have documented proof that he committed fraud several years ago. Today, among other things, he wrote the following. So, one thing is that he, meaning me, Tom Grant, slept with an underage girl, which I feel sick at the thought of, and then I guess he was bragging on the set of Soaked and Blotched about how many women he slept with over the years. Like WTF, someone who's friends with Statler told me that. Believe me, I'm the least of your worries. Do you folks understand what hearsay is and why it's so irrelevant? Okay, Richard, I guess I have to confess, I did sleep with a 15-year-old girl. We were in high school. I was 15 too. A few years later, she got pregnant with my daughter and I married her. In the 70s, after my divorce, I'm ashamed of the lifestyle I lived, lots of women. Nothing to be proud of, and whenever I speak about that time of my life, I don't brag about it. I never thought it was right. I even told my wonderful father what I was doing and told him I don't like the lifestyle I was leading, but the temptation, especially while being a young cop in my early 20s, was overwhelming for me. He said he'd pray for me. That's my dad. Never did drugs. Barely drank any alcohol. Never slept with anyone under 18 after my first girlfriend and later wife. Never had handcuffs on except in the Sheriff's Academy during training exercises. I was and still am a good Christian, unlike Matthew who lies and says that I didn't do any of my own research. Witnesses that are Nazis aren't witnesses. All we have to do is team together and write letters to the Seattle Police Department. Tell them you're from Tom's Army. Be sure to include the following points. No fingerprints on gun. Kurt did not wash his hands. He was dirty and grungy. Not a suicide note. I have to whole handwriting experts who that the last part is not Kurt's handwriting. Why would Kurt kill himself knowing that there is a draft retirement to fans letter that could be used to market off a conspiracy theory? Dead men don't pull triggers. Kurt Cobain couldn't even catch a cab. He had $400 or so worth of pure heroin in his system. Someone had bought him pure heroin, and it surely wasn't me at all. So, shoot your best birdshot anyone out there. Then let's get back to business of becoming senior citizens, at least knowing that my 3 main points are proof enough without the bad people who do drugs and abuse freedom of speech with their symbol and a shirt that's offensive. Up next, oh, woe is me. Joe Burns fingered me from a lineup as being present when Kurt was killed. Yeah, but as you can see from my timeline, I wasn't there on the 5th. I actually called in sick that day. Good luck trying to place me there. Are you going to try and implement me? I didn't buy the expensive pure hotshot of heroin. I gave Dylan and Mark money to buy drugs, yes, but it was only for them to bug the house. The only upstairs in the greenhouse was Mark, who was smoking, but I called him down when we were leaving. No one ever checked. Yes, I was at the Peninsula Hotel where Courtney Love was the day before she contacted me, but I was there for hooker business. I wasn't trying to buy expensive professional suits at Barney's, plus Courtney had the card. I didn't sabotage the Cobain case either by means of illegal activity that disqualified any evidence obtained if ever the case were to reopen. Seattle jurisdiction attorney laws will change someday, and then you'll see. It's not the first time someone has accused me of being hired by Courtney to kill her husband. As for Eric Blank, he is only jealous of my big white happy smile and money, and I make better films than he does. If I wanted to read subtitles, I'll just watch Passion of the Christ. Pretty darn ingenious of these highly experienced investigators to finally, after all these years, join with thousands of other sick people who figured out it was me. Wait, did I just write that? Oops. In fact, one of them even claims he owns the trademark who killed Kurt. Dean Summers, you know absolutely nothing about trademark laws. Do some research before you blow your hot air at hundreds of people who have been writing that phrase, who killed Kurt for years, including many in the print and television media, who killed Kurt Cobain. I'll be waiting for your lawsuit. Tom of Tom's Army. Donate to Tom's Army to enter into the weekly lotto, where one lucky member will receive an official autographed copy of my PDF. Tom, Superhero PI.